Hello, everybody. This is Prateek here from Apagem Solutions. Today, we are going to see a demonstration of purchase management in new Odoo 8.0. As you can see, this is the login screen of the new Odoo 8.0. I'm going into log in the system. As we log into the system based on the different access rights that has been provided to a particular employee, we would be able to see different menus. So for example, you can see that this particular employee is able to see the following menu: sales, point of sale, project, counting, purchases, and so on. Today we are going to see a demonstration of purchase management, which can be done through the menu purchases. The purchase management in Odoo allows us to create a product and supplier master for our organization, where you can manage your different suppliers and their information. You can create all the products that you're going to purchase, which includes service as well. You would be able to raise a request for quotation for your supplier, then receive the bids and then confirm the purchase orders. In turn, you can also call for bids for the same required to multiple suppliers and then choose one of the bids and send the purchase orders. Once the purchase orders have been raised, you would be able to create invoice and would also be able to receive all the items that you have asked for. At the end, you would be able to see some reports and analysis to see how you are doing in purchases. Let's first see how we create a supplier. You can do this from this suppliers menu. I'll go through creation of a supplier. If it is a company, please choose it as a company. Please note that the fields which are not blue in color are not compulsory to fill. Here in the contact section, you would be able to put the contacts for the company. In the sales and purchases section, you mention whether this is a supplier or a customer. Odoo has a concept of partner where supplier and customer belong to the same category called partner. You have multiple options, whether you want it to be active, whether you want it to publish to your website, whether you want it to be removed from an email, automatic emails for mass campaigning. In accounting section, you choose the receivable and payables. It is automatically selected as soon as you create a chart of accounts, and you can change the accounts from here. The geolocalization is used for your customers. Point of sale used for customers selling through the store. And the warning accounts can be used in case of creating a purchase order where there is a specific exceptional condition and you would like to create a warning. Once this supplier is created, we'll go ahead and see how to create a product. So for example, a Dell laptop, we can choose whether this product can be sold, expensed or purchased. In our case, what is relevant is purchased. The product type, we have three options. One is stockable, consumable and service. If we choose it stockable, you would be able to manage inventory for the same. Consumable, that means no inventory management. And service would be non-physical products, again for which no inventory will be managed. In unit of measure, you will select the unit in which this product will be measured. Please note that the purchase unit and sales unit of measure can vary completely. Here, what you are choosing here is the general unit of measure. Sale price can be left blank because this product is not being sold. You can choose the 13-digit European barcode if the product has a barcode, and an internal reference for your understanding. In the procurement tabs, you will choose what is the costing method of the product. This is very important when you are doing an inventory valuation. Many companies choose standard price. In that case, whatever is the price that you sit here is cost price. Based on the inventory levels, the inventory valuation will come. And the other would be the average price, and the last one being a real price. The difference between average, real, and standard would be so on. The last cost price would be the real price. The cost price, which is the sum total of all the cost price divided by the number of inventory, and the standard price would be the amount that you fix up here. If you want the purchase unit of measure to be different from sales unit of measure, you would be able to specific purchase unit of measure here. You also have to select how the system will behave as far as supply chain is concerned for this particular product. You can set it per product. So you have to clearly mention whether you buy this product, whether you manufacture this product, or whether you want the product to be ordered when you sell this product. In this case, we are not ordering this while selling because it's not being sold. So in our case, it would be a buy case. Call for bids. Call for bids, you need to check this box if you want this product to be available for purchase requisition, or say call for bids where multiple suppliers can be sent requests for quotations at one go. If you want to limit yourself this product to a particular supplier, then you can choose them here. Once these products are created, the next step would be to say call for bids for a particular product. So for that, we will go to calls for bids. We'll come and here and click on create. A reference number will come automatically. You can choose a source document. By default, the responsible person would be the person who is logged in. Bid selection type. There are multiple selection types that are possible. One is you want an exclusive RFQ for a particular bid, or the other would be the multiple RFQs. So if you want a single RFQ, that means all other bids would be cancelled. And in case of multiple RFQs, you would be able to create multiple RFQ from the same bid. multiple RFQ per supplier. Okay. Now, what the system does is, for example, if there are bids sent to different suppliers, it is also possible that for the same supplier you may create multiple RFQs. So by default, this will not happen, but if when you check this box, it will allow you to send multiple RFQ per supplier as well. However, this is a very rare case, and only some companies do that. So we'll not check this box right now. Bid submission deadline. Basically, these are informational purposes. So you can set a bid submission deadline here, say 28th January, an ordering date, say 29th, and schedule date, say 31st. Picking type. So we have multiple options for picking type. So basically, it is mentioning where you want the order to be delivered and what it is type of transaction. So basically, it is going to be receipts for a particular warehouse. There are two warehouses here, Noida and Chicago warehouse. I'm choosing Noida, and I'm choosing that it would be a receipt when these items come into my inventory. Once this is done, I will select the product from a list. I'll choose the quantity that I want to order. Unit of measure comes default, and the schedule date by default comes to be here. I can change the date for a particular product if required. Once the products have been selected, the next step would be to select the suppliers for quotation. So as you can see, there are multiple suppliers. I'm selecting second, say Excel. So I've created two multiple RFQs here, which I can now process. Now these RFQs are in independent forms that are being created. If you can see that RFQ is a separate object in itself. So RFQ process can be handled completely separately and independently from call bidding. If I want to go through call bidding, then only I should choose it. Otherwise, there is no need or compulsion to go through call bidding on itself. RFQs can be handled separately as well. Once we are ready with this, we can click on confirm call. The RFQs that we created would exist here. Now let's see how we handle the RFQ separately. Assuming this was created manually and not out of bids, you would be able to see this RFQ. You enter the supplier, you can choose a price list for a supplier and set up different prices. Currency can be added. In the product, you choose the product, its description, the date on which you want it to arrive, the quantity, the unit of measure, the prices, taxes if applicable, and the final total. Once this purchase order is created, the next step would be to send it by email to our supplier. To do that, you will click on send RFQ by email. By default, it will pick email address from the supplier. In case you do not have email address of the supplier, it will give you a warning. Let me go back to the RFQ once again. In the meantime, it takes its time to load. Let's go ahead with the other processes. Once the RFQ has been sent, the next step would be whether the bid have been received or not. Once the bids have been received, you can enter the bid date here and the validity of bid date here. And the next step would be to finally confirm the order if there are any changes to be done before the order has been received. To that, you will click on confirm order and your purchase order would be created. Once this is created, you would be able to send this PO by email to your supplier. In turn, you would also be able to print the same from here and send it to customer. Once the purchase order has been created, the next step is to receive the products as soon as they arrive. To do the same, you will come to a particular purchase order like this one. You would be able to see how many shipments are there. There is a button to receive the products, which you can click and receive the items. So let's go ahead by clicking on receive products. It takes us to an incoming entry. You can see the items that are supposed to be received. Please note that there is no pricing here from the partner, that is your supplier, the creation date, schedule date, the source document, and the details of the items, details of the location where it is being put into, or other information. You can edit the same. If you need to enter the carrier information from where it is arrived and reference number, the weight and all, you can enter it here. Once we are ready to receive, we'll click on transfer. We'll choose how many items have been received. We can choose to receive in two steps, two different steps or multiple steps, or we can receive in full. Once it has been shown transferred, the items have been received. Now let's go back to the original purchase order that we created. Now the items have been received. What is remaining right now is the invoice. To do that, you would be able to go to invoice control and see the multiple options. As we had seen in invoices, there is an option to choose the invoice three methods. One is you would be able to create draft invoices directly as soon as PO is created, or you can create invoices from purchase order lines, or on the third option, you could see by incoming shipments. In our case, we have chosen purchase order lines. So let's go to purchase order lines. Now, for the same supplier, we would be able to create invoices. So as you can see, for supplier S tag, we have three purchase order lines which belongs to two different purchase orders. But if you want to create a common invoice, we would be able to do that. So we'll just choose the lines, click on more and click on create invoices. A draft invoice would be created. In case we want to edit the invoice information, say the product lines, say invoice date, due date, and so on, we would be able to do that. We can put the supplier invoice number. Once this invoice is created, we are ready to validate. Invoice has now been validated and ready to be paid. To pay the invoice, you can click on pay button, choose the supplier, amount paid, choose the payment method you want to use. Click on register, and boom, your payment has been made. Your invoice has been paid. If we go back to purchases, you can see that the status of the invoice, that original purchase order, is now set to done. So basically, if you can see, we first created a product, we created a supplier, then a product, we created call for bids, which created RFQs. RFQs was sent to the supplier, they sent us the bid, then we sent in the purchase orders, then we received the items. After that, we created invoices, we paid the invoices, and then this purchase order is set to be done. Similarly, you will keep on creating multiple purchase orders and multiple entries. Over the period of time, these purchase orders will create a lot of data for analysis. So see, for all purchase orders, I can see them in different list view. I can see different graph views. So for example, I want to see all the purchase orders by, say, order month. So at this point of time, all have been ordered only in January. I can see in different forms, say expected month. So you can see, so there are different menus. If I want to put it in Excel, I would be able to do that. So I can export the data in Excel just by the click of a button. Then I would be able to see them in a simple tabular form, and so on. Similarly, in the reporting section, I would be able to analyze my purchases. Okay. So for example, I want to filter all my orders by supplier. So it tells me that this particular supplier, what is the total price, total quantity, and average price. I also want to group it by category of product. So I would be able to see this as well. I can have a different look here, different view in terms of bar chart. Then I can see a line chart. I would also be able to see a pie chart. So that's all for purchase management today. We'll come up with the next version of our demo. See you soon. Thank you. Bye bye.